We're still getting reactions to the ongoing scarcity of petrol in major cities across Nigeria, particularly regarding the underlying factors. And joining us now for a key contribution to this discourse is Chinedu Okoronkwo, the National President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. Welcome to the program this afternoon. Well, the question on a lot of Nigerians' minds has been discussed all week. How could such a situation be allowed to get out of hand with bad petrol distributed across the country? I actually want to get your reactions to the way things have played out and to see when you think that everything can be cleared up and the nation returns to better petrol in their tanks.
Thank you for this wonderful question. The problem is that a lot of work has been done by NNPC, especially to remove that toxic product, the off-spec product, from the system. And I believe pretty soon, within this week, everything will clear off. And my advice is that people shouldn't panic. You know, that is one other thing. Being able to dictate that quantity and putting it out of circulation is the major thing they have done and should be commended. It's obvious that all hands are now on deck to bring in to a halt this kind of thing. And our major area is that the masses of this country shouldn't suffer for having this kind of thing. And we've gotten assurance from Mr. Farouk, you know, that the culprit is also apprehended. We believe something like this will not happen again.
Well, but this one that has already happened, some car owners have already suffered damages. Who is going to pay compensation? Can they sue for compensation?
Well, I think there is nothing, if we sit down and talk properly, we can solve. It's not surmountable. In our association as IPMAN, we have started taking inventory of those cars that have gotten that problem of bad fuel. We've opened up our data all over the country so that we can get those cars with such problem. Let's see how we can, you know, do one or two things. And we believe government will hear us and see how we can, you know, weather this problem.
It's one thing to have this problem and it's one thing to overcome it, but someone needs to be held accountable or somebody needs to be held accountable. So who do you think is responsible for creating the menace in the city at the moment? Would you say the midstream, downstream petroleum regulatory authority, NNPC itself, or would you say the supplier in question that you talked about earlier?
Yeah, it's narrowed down to the supplier, and it's very simple to get him out and let him face the music. Punishing an NNPC or the regulatory agency shouldn't be an option, you know. You see, from the manifest, you will say, this is what I'm bringing into the country. This is the specification. And you see, with this kind of position of an NNPC and this thing, they might even get to the ship. They would dip. You know, this thing is embedded underground. The top of the product can even give them something better, you know. So we're happy that the supplier have been unveiled. It's for them to make it public and let us not go this route again.
And speaking of not panicking and the topic of trust, we were initially told that none of the adulterated petrol had gone out. And now we are experiencing that quite a bunch of it has gone out and is destroying cars. In the future, what is being done to make sure that regulations are actually being stuck to? Because I want to assume that there are strategies and regulations that need to be held up in order for petroleum to go out in the first place. So for that to not have happened, and going back to the trust, how can we trust that this won't happen again? How can we trust that the petrol that actually is in our cars is actually checked? Because it seems like it's not.
Well, I think if you'll agree with me, there is an adage that says that experience is always the best teacher. I believe what has happened now is an eye-opener to everybody, including the marketers, the NNPC, and even the regulatory agency. I don't want to say that these agencies should be punished for anything. Now they have been able to pin down the culprit. Remember, for any product to come in, there must be well-billed, papers must have been done, putting the specification of what you're bringing. To me, all these things must have been done. But if the man have decided to bring something that is not proper to the country, it's a music he will face. I believe it's a very big lesson for everybody in the industry moving forward.
Now, some people believe that it's time for Nigeria to have a rethink, of NNPC being the sole importer of petroleum products into the country, that perhaps it's time, to open up the importation of fuel into Nigeria. What do you make of this?
It would have started, but for the postponement of this deregulation. NNPC is not craving to be the sole importer, but I believe as agency of government will always use what they have, what they think they can trust for now, pending when the business will be totally deregulated. For now, NNPC, I believe they are doing a very good work, making this product available. Remember, the issue of dollar, getting this thing is not easy. Pretty soon, a lot of refineries will come on stream. Remember, Dangote is about rolling out this year. There are other modular refineries. BUA is also doing something. I believe in the long run, there might be no need for importation of products, even before that 18 months. There are other alternatives on how to deepen the gas. Many cars now will be running on gas, CNG, LNG. What NIPCO have done in Benin, and they're extending their frontiers, is huge. Before maybe 3 months, we'll begin to see some of this thing. They will even roll out by March, that is next month. Huge. I believe this importation problem will reduce or even stop, basically.
Well, we sincerely hope so. Thank you for joining the conversation this afternoon, Chinedu Okoronkwo.